the drum is medicinal, the drum is ancient, the drum is the heartbeat of our world. And, you know, it's Mother Earth, so of course the mothers are gonna drum, honey. That's just how it's gonna go. Hi, my name is Amikaeyla. Coming from a Baptist background, being raised Catholic, you know, then starting to study different things from the African tradition, from Buddhist traditions, from, you know, traditions all over the world, Native American traditions, Celtic traditions. Everybody's got some kind of drum, be it a frame drum, or a council drum, or a djembe drum, or a bata drum, or a shekere, or a maraca, or tambourine. Something is holding the heartbeat. And that is what makes the ritualization of the space really juicy and alive and awake. I think my drum journey started when I was very, very small. My father is also a percussionist. My brother is a trap set drummer. And my mother and I both played piano and flute. We were kind of like the accessories to the percussion band, but I was always really intrigued with drum. And I've always really been intrigued with Afro-Cuban drumming, particularly the djembe and the bata. When I started really drumming was high school and college. And I remember I was in a bunch of bands. You know, I usually just sing. They give me a tambourine or they give me some percussive instrument and they kind of stick me in the back and I sing. But then when I started coming out front as a jazz singer, I really wanted to incorporate playing percussion along with it while I sang. You know, I think the first drum that I really got attached to was the djembe. And I started studying with actually women drummers in DC. There was a huge djembe community and we would go out to the community parks and everybody would bring their drums. Now, women still didn't get the props that the brothers did when it was time to do solos and things like that. But there was still a quiet community of women drummers that would get together and we would drum on Native American council drums. But in particular, I was drawn to the djembe and I started studying with teachers who studied with Baba Olotunji, and then I started looking for a teacher, particularly a woman teacher, and I was told that women weren't allowed to drum this drum, which, forget about it. Then I was like, oh, I'm gonna drum on this drum. This is what's gonna happen right now. So I just started studying on my own. It's like this rogue, like secret study. The concept of women not being able to drum or not being allowed to drum or not being invited to drum, and there are so many incredible women drummers, and also just kind of quarantining us to singing or being ancillary to the primary instrument, which is the drum in these particular traditions. As a woman and as a feminist and as an everythingist and as a fabulist, I was really not having that. It's just been a fantastic explosion of creativity. And, you know, I really do think that drumming, for me in particular, and particularly with the bata, shapes how you think. There's a way that the rhythmic patterning allows your memory, your neuronal networks, everything to kind of sync up and not only create kind of a mental massage, but really increase your ability to focus, to really kind of line up things in a way that I haven't experienced with anything else. So I've started a program, actually. I have an organization called the International Cultural Arts and Healing Sciences Institute. And I go around the world as a cultural ambassador and I bring drums to young women and girls and at-risk children, youth, and families. And we do a program called Music as Medicine. And we have another program called Drums Not Bombs, and really working with kids around self-expression and using the power of song and poetry and drum to really allow their feelings to be fully expressed. And so one of the best stories that I have about this is when I was asked to go with the United Nations High Commission on Refugees, we partnered with an organization called Intersections International, and we went and we were speaking with Iraqi refugees that had been relocated to, well, they ran away to Lebanon, Jordan, and Syria. And we were in a place called, I can't say the name, but it was in Lebanon, and it was a place where the mothers and the children were not only in hiding from the war that was taking place, they were also in hiding from their husbands who had gotten PTSD and had become completely abusive and, lost their minds, basically. And so they were refugees of refugees. And so it was like this really intense community where they had to be extra quiet and really reserved and hiding. Even when they were in this place of refuge, they were in hiding. So of course, I love children. And so of course I'm showing up with bells and whistles and drums and shakers and da 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 da. And I'm giving them all of these instruments so that we can all just play and sing and dance. And they just held them. They were still so petrified to make a sound. And it took a while for them to realize that they were allowed to play again. And once they did, it was like the floodgates were opened and everyone was singing and dancing and drumming and shaking. And it was really powerful to see these young children step into this place of expression and release. And so when it was over, of course, it was really hard for them to have to go back to this stifling quiet. But for that moment, they got to be free. And to see that cracking open and that liberation, even in that moment, it was the most incredible thing I'd ever seen. There is a pulling in of the divine, and it always happens with the drum. Hilarious, actually, to say that women are to be denied the shamanistic aspect of this instrument is ludicrous. It's dichotomous to what we know to be true, which is that women are mothers and women are grandmothers and women are caretakers and men are too. And so to deny anyone of those elements and the healing aspect that a shaman brings to a space, using all of their toolkit, and this being one of the primary ones for some of us, is not operating in a holistic, fulfilled way, especially if you really do want to heal, be a part of the divine, be a part of community. Coming out to the Bay and having a whole bunch of women really rallying together and part of Sister Boom and part of all of these different parades and marches and groups and camps and classes and community, where it's almost, regular for there to be, some women drumming thing. Here is amazing when you travel as much as I do and you realize what a dearth it is around the rest of the country, let alone the world. So to be kind of in the mecca of women drumming is incredible and exciting, and I'm so grateful to be a part of it and to help carry the torch of that, and excited to see how it continues to grow over the next 5, 10, 20, 100 years.